Lesson: Cultural Sensitivity in Global Privacy Audits. Cultural sensitivity in global privacy audits is a cornerstone of ethical and professional practice in data privacy auditing. As privacy auditors, the ability to navigate cultural nuances is as critical as understanding regulatory requirements and technical frameworks. This lesson delves into the practical aspects of incorporating cultural sensitivity into privacy audits, offering actionable insights, tools, and frameworks for certified data privacy and protection auditors. Cultural sensitivity is not just about recognizing differences, but leveraging them to perform more effective and ethical audits. To be culturally sensitive in privacy audits, one must first understand the cultural context of the region or organization being audited. This understanding can be achieved by employing the cultural dimensions theory proposed by Geert Hofstede, which identifies 6 dimensions that can help auditors analyze cultural differences: power distance, individualism versus collectivism, masculinity versus femininity, uncertainty avoidance, long-term orientation versus short-term normative orientation, and indulgence versus restraint. By applying this framework, auditors can anticipate how cultural values might influence privacy practices and stakeholder expectations. For example, in countries with high power distance, such as Malaysia or Mexico, data privacy practices may be more hierarchical, with decisions centralized at higher levels. Auditors might need to adjust their engagement strategies, ensuring they communicate with and gain buy-in from top-level executives. Conversely, in low-power distance countries like Denmark, it might be more effective to engage with employees at all levels, as decision-making is often more decentralized. Recognizing these differences allows auditors to tailor their approaches and improve the effectiveness of their audits. Practical tools for fostering cultural sensitivity include conducting pre-audit cultural assessments and employing culturally aware communication strategies. A pre-audit cultural assessment might involve gathering information about the organization's cultural norms, values, and practices through surveys or interviews with key stakeholders. This preparatory step helps auditors identify potential cultural barriers that could impact the audit process. Additionally, using culturally aware communication strategies, such as adapting language to avoid jargon or idiomatic expressions that may not translate well, can facilitate clearer and more respectful interactions. A step-by-step approach that auditors can implement begins with the preparation phase, where cultural dimensions and potential impacts on privacy practices are identified. Next, during the audit execution, auditors should engage with stakeholders through culturally sensitive communication and actively seek to understand their perspectives. This involves listening more than speaking, asking open-ended questions, and being aware of nonverbal cues that may indicate discomfort or disagreement. Finally, in the reporting phase, auditors should present findings in a way that respects cultural norms and provides actionable recommendations that align with the organization's cultural framework. To illustrate the importance of cultural sensitivity, consider a case study where a multinational company faced challenges in implementing a global privacy program. The company, based in the United States, attempted to apply its privacy policies uniformly across its international branches, including in Asia and Europe. However, this approach failed because it did not account for regional cultural differences. In Europe, where data protection is highly regulated and culturally embedded, employees resisted policies perceived as less stringent than the GDPR. In contrast, in some Asian countries where privacy norms were less established, employees were confused by the policy's complexity and language. By revisiting their strategy and incorporating cultural assessments and localized training programs, the company successfully aligned its privacy program with regional expectations and improved compliance. Auditors must also be aware of the ethical implications of cultural insensitivity, which can lead to misinterpretations, compliance failures, and even reputational damage. For instance, an audit report that fails to consider local cultural context might recommend changes that are impractical or offensive to the organization being audited. Such outcomes can be avoided by employing the ethical decision-making framework presented by the Institute of Business Ethics, which emphasizes the importance of considering cultural factors in ethical decision-making. This framework encourages auditors to evaluate the cultural implications of their audit findings and recommendations, ensuring they align with ethical standards and respect local norms. Statistics further highlight the significance of cultural sensitivity in global privacy audits. According to a survey by the International Association of Privacy Professionals, 74% of privacy professionals believe that understanding cultural differences is crucial for effective data protection. Moreover, organizations that incorporate cultural sensitivity into their privacy practices report higher levels of stakeholder trust and engagement, which are critical for successful audits and long-term compliance. Incorporating cultural sensitivity into global privacy audits is not without its challenges, such as balancing global standards with local practices. One practical approach to address this challenge is the use of the globalization strategy, which combines global and local considerations. Auditors can apply this strategy by developing a core set of privacy principles that are globally applicable while allowing flexibility for local adaptations. This approach ensures that audits are consistent and uphold global standards, yet are adaptable to local cultural contexts. The role of technology in facilitating culturally sensitive audits cannot be overlooked. Tools such as machine learning and natural language processing can assist auditors in analyzing cultural trends and sentiment from large datasets, providing insights into local attitudes towards privacy. Additionally, virtual collaboration platforms enable cross-cultural teams to work together effectively, breaking down geographical barriers and promoting a more inclusive audit process. In conclusion, cultural sensitivity is an essential component of ethical and professional data privacy auditing. By leveraging frameworks such as Hofstede's cultural dimensions, conducting pre-audit cultural assessments, and employing culturally aware communication strategies, auditors can navigate the complexities of global privacy audits more effectively. The integration of ethical decision-making frameworks and globalization strategies further ensures that audits are conducted with integrity and respect for cultural diversity. As privacy auditors continue to operate in an increasingly interconnected world, maintaining cultural sensitivity will be key to achieving compliance, building trust, and upholding the highest standards of professionalism.